The female warriors who terrified ancient China. They weren't just wives or concubines, they were warriors. They held swords, led armies, and changed the fate of the Han Empire. Yet history forgot their names. Until now. In the heart of ancient China, where emperors ruled with absolute power, where women were expected to be silent, obedient, and invisible, a rebellion burned, led not by generals or noblemen, but by women, fighters, survivors, warriors. This is not Mulan's fairy tale. This is real history, a lost chapter from the Han Dynasty, and it will change how you see China forever. Let's go back, over 2,000 years ago. The Han Dynasty had just risen to power. China was vast, powerful, but it was also deeply patriarchal. Women were property. They were rarely educated. A girl's future was to serve her father, then her husband, then her son. But history has cracks, and in those cracks, stories grow. One of those stories begins in the year 14 AD, at the edge of the empire, where the daughters of the Red River would become legend. The Han court was facing internal chaos. Famine, corruption, peasants were starving, and in the outer provinces, local warlords ignored the emperor's orders. In one remote village, a warlord named Ji Ling tried to force all the women to serve his army. But one woman said no. Her name? History never recorded it. But local texts called her the Tiger Bride. She gathered 17 women, farmers, widows, one even pregnant, and began training them to fight. They hid swords in baskets, practiced with bamboo poles, learned how to use poison and ambushes. When Jiling's men came, they weren't met with fear, they were met with fire. The female warriors ambushed the supply convoy, they burned grain carts, took weapons, and vanished into the forest. Jiling sent his army to crush them. But they didn't expect what came next. One soldier later wrote, "They moved like shadows. Their cries were not of women, but of death." The women became a symbol. In nearby towns, more women joined them. They called themselves the Red Lotus Rebellion. In less than 6 months, they controlled 4 villages and even defeated an elite unit sent by the emperor himself. And then, they vanished. What really happened? Historians believe the Han Dynasty covered up the rebellion. Most records were burned. But in one forgotten monastery in Sichuan, a scroll was found in 1923. It mentioned women who walked with blades like men and made emperors tremble. They were real, their story buried, their names erased. But their legacy? Unkillable. Today, in some villages near the Red River, old women still tell the story of the Tiger Bride. They whisper it to daughters before bed, not as myth, but as memory. History tried to silence them, but stories are louder than silence. So the next time someone tells you women never fought, tell them this: in ancient China, 17 women rose from ashes and became war. If you want more forgotten histories, more erased heroes, lost empires, and secrets they don't teach in school, subscribe now. Because here, we don't just tell stories, we resurrect them.